first of all, things getting serious over here. Because at this point, everything going up. What is inflation? If you don't know what inflation is, keep watching the video because we can break it down as simple as possible. Quick disclaimer before I continue. Please note that I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a lawyer. This is just based on my research and I'm just passing on the information to you. Please make your own decision. Do not take my word for it. Do as you please. Choose wisely. Make your own choices and do not depend on me. Thank you. Now, inflation is basically the increase in prices or goods or services. For example, the price of houses go up, price of goods may go up. You may go in the supermarket today and rice gone up. Say for example, yesterday you bought a bag of rice for $2.50. Today you go in the supermarket and you bought the rice for $2.75 or even $3.50. Water gone up, everything gone up, right? Inflation is measured as an annual percentage rate. Most economists say a healthy rate is between 2 and 3%. Inflation basically is the cost of goods and services increasing. So for you to understand why it goes up, you have to understand the law of supply and demand. The law of supply and demand states the price of products increase when there are less products available, and the price of products decrease when there is more than enough products available for everyone. So supply, basically think about you creating however much products and you only have X amount of customers. Now, if these customers are not matching up with the products, if they are higher, that's a higher demand. If they're lower, that's a low demand. So demand is basically how many consumers want this particular product. Because there is less quantity in the market, then the prices have to go up because you don't have enough. So you get to push up the prices. So that's what inflation is. Little side note, I saw this, I don't know if it's an actual word. There's something called shrinkflation. So let's just say I'm selling a product and I don't want to change the price of my product. My product is a flat $10 and I want to still save money because I know things are going up. I have to pay more money for the ingredients to make my product, and I know I still have to pay more for the packaging as well. So in order to keep the same price, then I would shrink the size of the product. So I'm giving you less, but I'm still charging the same $10. So that's what it's called, shrinkflation. Y'all could Google it if y'all want, if that's a real word or not. I'm not sure, but that's what I saw. That's a regular tactic as a business owner. So on the flip side, if you are a consumer of particular products, then you have to know exactly how to plan when it comes to your money and when inflation occurs. And then as a business owner, you still also have to work smart and not hard, and also understand that inflation can affect you as a business owner, because if things go up and your prices do not go up, you're going to end up taking a loss. But that's from the back end and not the front end. So you still have to understand how the supply chain works. You have to understand supply and demand to make particular decisions in your business. So low supply, high demand, increasing prices. High supply, low demand, lower prices. So basically, the more product you have, the less it's going to cost. The less product you have, the more it's going to cost. It's as simple as that. So as it relates to oil, as it relates to all these natural resources, then we will have to pay more money. People use oil to produce certain things, and those things have to get passed down to the retailer, and then it's going to get passed down to the consumer. You need to take this into consideration when you are doing anything as it relates to money. So it's very good to educate yourself not only on inflation but also on taxes, interest rates, etc. We're going to get a little bit into that later. But financial literacy, knowledge is power. Try to do as much research as you can. So causes include problems with the supply, issues with the demand. There's also something called built-in inflation, and this is where, let's say you have a business, you have the employer and you have the employees. So usually one of the effects of inflation is where wages do not necessarily rise just as fast as goods and services, etc. So the money that you may usually spend to do your day-to-day tasks or to have your lifestyle, if you're spending $1,000 a month in this particular lifestyle, just calling a number, and your wages are the same, but yet still next month you have to be paying $2,000 to maintain the particular lifestyle you have, and your wages are still the same, you're going to come to the point where you would want your wages to increase. Now, in this case, in built-in inflation, the employees will push the employer to raise the wages, but if the employer buys in and raises the wages, then what the employer will do, whether they are providing a product or a service, is that they will increase that product or service as well, and then it would just be a recycled situation. So then the same thing will happen to the employees again, and then they will push up the prices of the goods and services, and then same thing will happen again, they will push it back up. So that's what they call built-in inflation. The government and the central bank makes up the public sector. So the government has different ways to fight inflation. So one of the ways is taxes. So by using taxes, they can increase taxes on particular goods. That would stop so many people from spending money and decrease the demand in that particular product. Secondly, by cutting down on the amount of contracts that they have with the private sector. So this will limit the amount of money going into the economy. So the next way is the central bank. So this way is called the contractionary monetary policy, and this is where there is an increase in interest rates. So this will limit the amount of people going in for loans, because if the interest rates are high, it's less likely for somebody to go and take out a loan. And then bonds basically is where a promise is made by the borrower, in this case the government, to pay a lender their principal and usually interest on the loan. And then the bank reserve requirements. All banks have reserves, right? So the central bank is basically what controls all the other banks. So there are certain requirements. So if the central bank decides, well, y'all need to stock up on your reserves, y'all need to double the reserves, then they need to do that. So that will limit the amount of money that goes out into the public as well, and the economy will not have as much money flowing around like before. Some of the effects include uncertainty in the market, higher income taxes, financial hardships on the workers. So with so much inflation, the value of the dollar goes down, meaning that the purchasing power goes down as well. So what you could once buy with $100, you cannot buy today with $100. So although there are so many ways to make money today, the purchasing power is decreasing significantly, and the ratio is kind of off balance. So even though some people may have a particular amount of money that technically has not as much value as it did yesterday. So really and truly, it's just about being smart in a time like this. And if you have not yet started to prepare yourself for worse times hitting, then this is the time that you need to be doing that. The last recession would have been in 2008. I'm not going to let this recession that is coming to affect me and catch me off guard. So I suggest that you guys do your own research. I suggest that you start to prepare yourself. Any other information that I have, then I will also pass on. I'll try to make the videos as often as possible. Don't take my word as the advice, but what I will say is work smart and not hard. It's just about working smart. There's so many people who came out of recessions, so many things that were built in recessions. Say for example, Uber, Airbnb, like these were birthed in the recession and they were really propelled. So it's not like you can't survive a recession. Prepare for it. Don't wait until a recession comes or like worse times hit and then you know gonna be scrambling. So that's it for this video. Go ahead, like, comment and subscribe. And if you have any particular topic that you want me to talk about, go ahead and drop that topic inside of the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next video.